Crucifix. It's
Yeah,
not just like a profit.
Yeah, it's 4.
No, we want to draw this card every game, maybe even 2.
All right, so Reid is on your left. Michael is to the right. So it looks like Michael won the die roll, and he's leading off with a Cloudfin Raptor. And Reid just with a Temple Garden.
Yeah, Reid has a lot of mana ramp, but except for the Elvish Mystics, his mana ramp starts at 2. He does have a ramp on turn 2, but Michael is curving out pretty well as well.
Yeah, really good draw. Whenever the mono blue devotion deck goes, Cloudfin Raptor into anything, either a Tideminder Mage or the Frostborn Weird, is really, really strong. All right, so there is the Voyaging Satyr. So no blue mana yet for Reid. Maybe he has it in his hand. Remember, the Elvish Mystic and the Voyaging Satyr won't produce blue if he doesn't have it. All right?
Right.
Sylvan Caryatid produces any color, so.
So Schrage has a lot of enables in his hand. Yeah,
This is just a great start.
Hand.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't understand why he swung with the 1/4,
Frostborn,
but
yeah.
that's going to get blocked.
Yeah, I think maybe he got overexcited, just
Swing team.
Yeah.
All right, but Reid's down to 17.
All right, so I think Reid just drew a Hollow Fountain for the turn, so that will give him the blue mana that he needs in case he didn't have it before.
So Reid has to fear, so this draw's been really good for Michael.
Yes.
What if the next card's Master of Waves?
I mean, yeah, it's super bad. I mean, the Tension Sphere could handle Master of Waves, but other than that, it's like a 1 Curse of the Swine. That's pretty much it.
Okay, that's it. That's just,
yeah,
he just doesn't really interact with that draw.
Because if Reid does have a Polychronos, Michael probably just wouldn't cast his Master of Waves.
Right.
So, and then if Reid waits on his Polychronos, he won't have enough mana to play Polychronos and actually take out the Master.
All right, so Reid's going to drop to 15 for the Hallowed Fountain.
Yep, and is it a Jace? It is a Jace. So it looks like Jace is going to go to 5. So now Michael has some decisions here. Let's see what he draws first.
He has to choose between... the Night Veil Spectre will probably go at Reid.
I think I saw another Frostborn Weird, so that would help the Cloudfin Raptor. Cloudfin Raptor would now be a 3/4 pre-combat.
The Weird wouldn't evolve it anymore.
The Cloudfin Raptor? Why not? It's a 1/4.
Oh, no, sorry, the 4 will. You're right.
Yeah,
it
will,
on the toughness. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he has.
Right.
So there is a Frostborn Weird, so it's going to be a 3/4 pre-combat. Now,
yep.
During combat, it's going to get reduced because of Jace's ability.
So if Michael wants to kill the Jace,
I think
he has to send everything at it and pump.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it does mean he gave up the opportunity to steal a card, which is significant.
Sure. But, I mean, his board is so good already. Just don't have Jace on play.
Right.
Jace is so powerful. And let's see what Reid has. Oh, there's a follow-up. Okay, there's a Prophet, so this is good. Now Reid's going to be able to play possibly multiple spells in essentially 1 turn.
Well, this is so strong because Michael's deck is often a tempo deck.
Sure.
And it's really hard to tempo someone with Prophet in play.
Okay.
Michael's going to try, though. He drew, I want to say I think his draw for the turn was... Oh, no, it's just a Cloudfin Raptor.
Oh, just Cloudfin Raptor?
For a second, I thought he'd drawn a Master Waves. I was like,
sure.
well, that's a good draw.
Yeah.
But...
Now, the one thing that would be cool if Reid could add to his deck is, say, like a flyer that could actually jump Night Veil Spectre with Prophet in play. But no flying in the deck, so the Night Veil Spectre and the Cloudfin Raptor are free to just attack here.
And this has got to be a scary situation for Michael because everything in Reid's deck has Flash now.
Yeah, I don't know if I love swinging in with those Frostborn Weirds. The flyers, sure. But the Frostborn Weirds...
You're worried he's just going to drop some blocker?
Yeah, like a Polychronos could jump it.
He just doesn't know what his opponent has right now.
Sure.
You'd have to assume, right, with this many forests, that he has some sort of big thing to drop in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe Michael just has a Reid. We'll find out momentarily.
Nope, I think you're going to be dead on. It's Peluchronos.
Yep. Okay, Peluchronos will jump in front of a Frostborn Weird. The Prophet...
He's going to just bounce
Cyclonic Rift, yeah, okay.
He's very aggressive play from Michael.
Sure. But now the Frostborn Weirds, they don't... Well...
They still pump some?
Yeah, I wonder why he tapped blue, because... The more islands, the better for Frostborn Weird, right?
Yeah, I think he was just an oversight.
Okay, sure.
His last card is a Cloudfin Raptor, so there's no reason to keep Mutavault up there.
Yeah, it's not like Mutavault's going to block or anything, so we'll see what Reid decides to do here. It's looking kind of bad for Reid, to be honest.
I mean, this is a very strong draw from Michael. Michael was on the play. Reid's lucky to still be playing at this point.
Sure. And I think Reid's just going to take it all.
He's only pumping once. It looks like Michael wants to make the Frostburn Weird post-combat.
Yep. All right, so Reid's going to fall down to 7. I believe that was 8 damage there.
The Cloudfin Raptor post-combat.
Yeah.
All right.
And he'll just pass the turn. So Reid's going to need something really good. I mean, we know he has the Peluchronos still in his hand because he got bounced by the Cyclonic Rift, but that's not going to be enough, right?
Well, he has Pelucranos. He can
could
play
play it
it,
main
and then he can
phase.
play it and Monstrous it for 2 all at once. That's still not enough.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough quite
If
yet.
he has a Nykthos, that's enough. If he plays Nykthos Pelucranos, then it's
he
enough.
does have 2 copies of Nykthos, so that's not out of the question here. Yeah, he will be able to have extra mana. It's going to be close, to be honest. We'll essentially find out momentarily. Again, Reid is playing his Prime Speaker Bant deck. He worked on the deck with TBS. So if you guys don't know TBS, he's a player from Australia. And Reid's just swinging for 2 with the Prophet. Follows it up with a Forest, and is it a
Primeval Bounty.
Primeval Bounty.
So when he plays that Pelucranos this turn, he's
get
going to
another
get
creature.
a 3/3.
Yes. And then if he could survive this turn, and he'll be able to play a land, he'll be able to gain 3 life from that next turn.
Yeah, it's very hard to race a Primeval Bounty.
It really is. All right, so Michael's going to play the Temple that he got from Reid's deck. I believe he left the card on top. Now he's moving to combat, it looks like. So what is Michael really trying to do here? Just swinging in with the Flyers? Is that going to be his line? He can swing in with the 3/4 Cloudfin Raptor, the 2/3 Night Veil Spectre. He has a Frostborn Weird, so it would evolve the other Cloudfin Raptor. So that's 6 damage in the air, potentially.
Yeah, not 1 short.
1 short, and he still has to worry about the Pelucranos.
Yeah, because Pelucranos is 2 creatures, he can't flood the ground with Mutavaults.
Exactly. It being 2 creatures because it being the 5/5 and because
And
the
the
Primeval.
3/3.
Yeah, exactly. Primeval Bounty will make a 3. So he's only swinging with the Flyers. It looks like Reid's going to go down to 1. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's a Prime Speaker. That's pretty good.
He's going to have to get another land before he can cast it. But if he can, it's really good.
And it looks like Reid is going to... I can't imagine what he might play over the Pelucranos. Is there anything you could really think of here? It's got to be the best creature, which he does play.
Yeah, so it's going to be the Pelucranos.
Okay. And he'll make a 3/3 beast here.
It's got another play as well.
Oh, what is
Probably
this?
Voyaging Satyr.
Another 3/3.
Question is of how much he can swing back for.
I don't think
It's not.
yeah.
I don't think it's 18, but it's.
I mean,
nothing.
and he has to fight through 3 Frostborn Weirds as well. That can just get in front of the way and chump block.
Yeah, he can. So for him to activate, he has to kill all the Flyers. If he has a land, he has some extra life to work with.
He really needs a Shrine here, because if he has a Shrine,
Yeah,
he's able to untap the Shrine with both Voyaging Satyrs and get a lot of mana here.
I think a Shrine is the
1,
only
2,
way he
3,
gets
4,
enough.
5, 6.
Yeah,
His Devotion to Green is 6.
right. So which means each of those
Plus
taps
3.
for 4.
Yeah, so essentially +3, right? If it's 6.
If it's 6, yeah, he has a Shrine taps for each of those Shrines, and the Satyrs would all tap for 4. So
it's
he would have
12.
17. He would have 17 mana.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It means you could activate Pelucranos on 8 and make it eat.
4, 6, 8, exactly, right?
Yep. Yeah, he could activate it
wow.
on 8, and that would be enough to eat.
All the Flyers.
The Flyers head up to 9.
No, 9. You're right.
He'd
Because
have,
the 1, 2, geez.
but
Yeah.
it'd be close, and then
It would
he
be
could play lands and and then gain life.
Yeah.
He'd be okay if he
He'd
had
be okay. So we'll see. So he's swinging in with a couple of beasts and the 5/5. It's only a 5/5 now. It could get a lot bigger.
Right.
I mean, if you're Michael, do you just throw 1 Frostborn Weird in front of the 5/5 there? In front of the World Eater?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Going on to
Sure.
12. It's not the end of the world here.
How good would it be if Reid had a Cyclonic Rift in his deck?
That
Oh,
would
man.
be good. Yeah. You know, he doesn't have too many spicy one-ofs. 1 Primeval Bounty, 1 Curse of the Swine, and 1 Aetherling.
I mean, if he has Curse of the Swine, that would be just as good here.
Yeah, it would be very good. All right. So the 2 Frostborn Weirds are going to jump in front of the Beast, and what is he going to play?
Sphinx's Revelation.
Ooh, that's going to be good. So he'll be able to put a +3/+3 counter on one of the beasts, and he's going to be drawing 4 cards.
Yeah, he's doing it. Wants to do that this turn so he has the chance to draw a land.
So he goes to 5. He plays a land. He goes to 8.
Now he can live another turn, and he really only needs 1 more turn.
Yeah, exactly. And he's able to untap everything.
Right.
So he's able to untap all his creatures and all his lands on Michael's upkeep.
All right, so now Reid's up to 8. He's getting there.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten there, to be honest.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and the Polychrono still is not monstrosity yet, so he's able to shoot down whatever he
Well,
wants
I
to shoot
think his
down.
next attack is going to be lethal.
Yes, I believe so. So is there anything Michael could draw to get out of this here? I mean, even a Thassa won't do it.
He could draw
Cyclonic
a way to evolve Cloudfin Raptor.
But that still wouldn't do it because the Polychronos could just shoot it in response.
All right.
Yeah.
Pelucranos could eat everything.
I think he needs, yeah, I mean, a Cyclonic Rift, he doesn't have enough lands to overload, and he only has 6 in play. There's a Mutavault hiding on those 2 islands. There's a Temple, and then there's 2 other islands to the right. So it looks like Reid's going to take down this game where Michael had one of the best draws. He went turn 1 Cloudfin Raptor, turn 2 Frostborn Weird, turn 3 Night Veil Spectre on the play, right?
He had an aggro creature draw. Now, Tidebinder Mage does nothing against Prophet.
Yeah.
He never had one of his
Cloudfin Raptor, but
he never had one of his follow-ups. He never had a Master Waves or a Thassa or a Bident.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But he did have all the creatures. And so we see Tidebinder Mage. It's going to tap down Pelucranos. And yeah, remember that Prophet will just untap it.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
then it will,
yeah, it's just doesn't really do much here.
Wait, but Prophet will not, it only untaps it during other players' steps.
Exactly, yeah.
So he won't get it for this turn to attack.
It won't matter. It should be lethal, right? Because
Even without the Pelucranos attacking?
I believe so, because we have to assume Reid has a couple other creatures in his hand that he's going to play at instant speed. And those creatures are going to make more tokens.
Very possible.
Yeah, I mean, he Sphinx for 4. He had a hand before that. So
Reid goes to 1. Okay. So he could have drawn, Michael could have drawn the Cyclonic Rift, hit with the Night Veil Spectre, and then hit the land that way.
And hit the land that way. Yeah, that was reasonable.
There you go. That was an out.
Yeah, but Reid might have, took a different line there maybe.
Yes.
So I do see a Detention Sphere in Reid's hand. So Reid, on his turn, with Prophet, you could play creatures as Flash. Unfortunately, you can't play enchantments as Flash.
No.
That would be too good.
You can only play creatures and play most of the deck.
Yeah, and of course instants. But Prophet kind of reminds me of Teferi.
He is
5 mana, 3/4, 2/3.
Well, he gives all your creatures flash, which is something that certainly is Teferi-like.
Sure. So Reid is activating the Polychronos right here.
Just for X equals 2.
He's going to take out the Tidebinder Mage, so he'll be able to untap it.
I think he believes he has a lethal attack here.
Yeah.
That's what this smells like.
Yeah, there's 2 Frostborn Weirds in the way. Michael's only on 13. The Detention Sphere is going to take both of them out. And with the additional counters, that's way more than 13. And
yeah, both the beasts are 12. The Pelucranos is more.
And the Mutavault's not going to save him, right? 6, 8. Blocks.
So the Pelucranos gets blocked, but then all the
12,
other creatures.
that's like
more
15
than
or. I think it is 15.
16 if
16?
If he swings that last Satyr, it's 16.
Sure. And Michael will just activate the Mutavault for a good showing, and he'll take a look at the math one more time and realize that he is defeated this game with one of the better draws from Mono Blue Devotion. So maybe this Prime Speaker Bant deck that Reid has is the real deal.
He's 4-1. This game is exciting for us.
Yeah, I mean, he's 4-1. He's up a game against Mono Blue Devotion. There's a good chance he probably already beat Mono Blue Devotion. I talked to Reid during my break, and Reid said that the only deck that he lost to so far was White Weenie. And he said it was 3 close games, and he said he actually misplayed, believe it or not. And he ended up losing to White Weenie, but he's back on track, 4-1, up a game. Let's take a look at his sideboard. All right, so Reid has access to another Detention Sphere, another Curse of the Swine, and another Aetherling. All right, so talk about a lot of one-ofs there. Bramble Crush. Bramble Crush is an interesting card. Bramble Crush is really, really powerful against like the mono black devotion deck, right? You're able to take out the swamp, and maybe there's an Underworld connection on top of the swamp. So you're 2 for 1ing them, setting behind, and you're casting it on turn 3 because you have a ramp spell on turn 2. He has Sylvan Primordial. He has Nylea's Disciple. He has 3 copies of Gainsay, which are definitely going to come in here.
Yes.
And then he has 3 copies of Mist Hydra, which are definitely going to come in here as well.
Yeah, so there's the obvious suspects, the Gainsays and Mist Cutters.
Exactly.
Which will be good here.
Anything else you see that you really like?
The Bramble Crush thing is cute, but I don't know if it's better than what he'd have to side out to put it in.
Yeah, I mean, what is he really going to take out with the Bramble Crush in this matchup? A Jace?
Yeah, right. And I think that's why I'm not sure he's going to play it.
I'm almost certain that the Bramble Crush is specifically for the Esper matchup or the Mono Black Devotion matchup.
Yeah.
Curse of the Swine, maybe.
Curse the Swine does get rid of a Thassa,
Yeah.
but I don't know how much he actually... This isn't sound weird. I don't know how much he actually cares about Thassa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Reid's probably going to go with 3 Mistcutter Hydras and 3 Gainsays, trim some of the stuff that he might not want in this matchup. On the other hand, Michael, do you see anything that Michael really wants to bring in? Is there a way he could stop maybe a big Sphinx's Revelation?
Yeah, he does play 2 negates.
Okay.
So he can use those. He does have Gainsays in his board. Those are not as good here.
Well,
Reid has some blue cards.
The whole thing is that, if you think about it, Gainsay does stop Jace. It does stop Sphinx's Revelation. Same thing as Negate. But Gainsay could also hit the Prophet because it's gold,
yeah, it
right?
can hit. Yeah, so Gainsay actually
might be better.
Gainsay's actually just better than Negate in this matchup. All of the non-creature spells from Reid, with the exception of the 1 bounty, are blue.
Sure.
So Gainsay's probably better than Negate.
Yeah, so probably he's bringing in 3 Gainsays. Maybe he's bringing in like 1 Negate. Because Sphinx of Revelation is just really good. If it ever gets to a point where the mono blue I mean, we saw Michael got a great start, but he just couldn't close it out. Reid played a Sphinx of Revelation for 4, and that just brought him back into the game, and that was it.
Yeah, Primeval Bounty did a lot of work there.
Oh,
for Reid.
yes. I mean, Primeval Bounty gained him the life that he needed to gain, put extra creatures into play, and it essentially put, +3/+3 counters on the creatures to close out the game 1 turn earlier. So I really like how Reid designed this deck. And, of course, Michael's deck is a well-stapled deck in the standard format. Mono Blue Devotion really made a big wave at the Pro Tour about 2 months ago almost, right?
It's been
almost
2
months
ago.
Time kind of flies. And yeah, now here we are today at the SCG Open in Providence, standard portion. I'm Gerard Fabiano, we're with Matthias Hunt. Reid's up a game. Michael's going to be on the play. Maybe Michael will get the same start again, and this time he could actually close it out.
Yeah, I think he was 1 follow-up card short of
he really was
in a great spot there.
Yeah, even if the follow-up card was just like any of them,
Yeah.
it really would have helped. Or maybe if he got a bit luckier with the Night Veil Spectre, maybe if he hit like a powerful card from Reid's deck, that could have changed the game.
Yeah, the good thing is that the cards that Reid has, by and large, are uncastable by Michael.
Yeah, for the most part. He is a blue deck. Reid is blue. But a lot of those cards will be tough for Michael to cast.
Yeah, he has very few mono blue cards. They're all gold.
Exactly. All right. So it looks like Michael has at least 1 island in his hand. And he probably has 2 because he's keeping. He's going to lead off with a Judge's Familiar.
Yeah, it looks like once again he has a great creature curve.
Yeah. All right. So what does Reid have here? He has a Temple. He's going to Scry. And it looks like he kind of likes it, so he's going to leave it on top. And I think Michael just threw a Thassa, which would be nice for turn 3. Judge's Familiar will bring Reid down to 19. I mean, do you think Reid's life total is relevant? If Reid stabilizes at like 12 compared to like 8, do you think it really matters or no?
Well, the way that mono blue sneaks past those final points of damage are with cards either with a big Cyclonic Rift or with Thassa.
Okay.
So, I mean, mono blue is the aggro deck here, so every life point matters.
Sure.
We are counting to 20 if we're playing this from Michael's side.
How good would Psionic Blast be if that was legal in the format? It'd be pretty good, right?
It'd be good.
You'd be able to kill your opponent's masters as well. All right, so Judge's Familiar will attack Reid down to 17. And I believe he's probably going to play this Thassa here. Yeah, and he does just that.
So now Michael has some inevitability. What he doesn't have is he's not hitting very hard yet, though he does appear to have a Tidebinder Mage to give himself Devotion to blue next turn.
That would be really good, because if he's able to have Devotion next turn, he could actually attack Reid down to 10. And, if Reid falls under 10, Reid's probably start to think, okay, I have to be very careful of my life total, and Michael's going to keep trying to put the pressure on, especially with Thassa being able to make other creatures and himself unblockable.
Mm-hmm. So we will see. The one thing that was impressive about last game is that Reid's counter to that was just to life gain his way past the blue aggro.
And what's pretty funny, Reid actually stabilized at 1. And then he went to 1 again. Do you think Reid had it all planned out?
I mean,
should we give him that much credit?
I mean, there was that one turn where Michael tapped really quickly for his Frostburn Weirds.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, whenever I lose and my opponent went to 1, I always think back through a game to see if there were any of those.
Yeah, I wonder if
that one really caught up to him.
I think it did, to be honest, because he could have played that Cyclonic Rift with Mutavault and Island, and he could have added an extra blue source there. All right, so there's an Elvish Mystic. Now, what do you think Reid has here? Why is
he keeping the hand, first of all, or why did he?
Well, I mean, why did he pay 2 life from Hallowed Fountain?
All right, now I have to look at Reid's deck.
Yeah, you gotta look at Reid's deck.
All right, I have to look at Reid's deck.
I mean, Gainsay? No, that doesn't matter.
And this is the advantage that when you're playing something unknown, it's not really clear.
Oh,
It
so
is Gainsay.
It is Gainsay.
I think it's
Gainsay and what? Because he didn't.
why? You mean because he has the Caryatid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why play it untapped?
The what 1 mana card does he have? He does not have.
He doesn't have a 1 mana card in his deck.
This is kind of interesting here. What's the one? I don't know.
He could play around Syncopates.
Maybe that's
that
it.
way.
Yeah, maybe he is playing around
But
Syncopate.
that seems like an awfully low probability thing for
Yeah, I
2
guess.
life. 2 life seems more important than that.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to ask Reid about that because that is kind of interesting, you know. If anybody
Yeah,
at
yeah.
home knows
Yeah,
why
it's-
Reid paid the 2 life from the Hollow Fountain,
Oh,
please
no,
let us-
Judges Familiars. Judges Familiars. He wanted to be able to play around the Judges Familiars.
Oh, that's true.
There you go.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
it was
that
on
makes
board.
sense.
Don't
Yeah, it's on
tweet us.
board.
It was
No,
on
I
board.
mean, it's funny. This is saying Syncopate. It's like, oh yeah, what makes spells cost
Yeah.
more? Syncopate. Wait, oh, Judges Familiar does it too,
No,
right?
no. This is why Reid is so good at Magic because he sees the onboard plays. You know. All right. So Reid will now decide what he wants to do here. And I mean, I guess Michael could have stopped it with double sack of Judges Familiar. Do you think he should have?
No.
No, it's way too bad.
It's really close. I think maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, Night Veil Spectre is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think it's better than 2 Judges Familiars.
I think so too. Yeah, I think I would rather have Night Veil Spectre than 2 Judges Familiar, and you know.
Yeah, like
Two-
that. Like
2
Judges
points of
Familiar
life
is
from-
really bad now that Reid went to Jace Plus.
Yeah.
My, you know.
All right, so Elvish Mystic will sneak in for 1. And Michael's going to draw. All right, so he leaves the card on top and immediately draws it. There's a Tidebinder Mage, so he can
Yeah.
shut down.
That'll give him devotion to blue.
Yeah, so he could bring Jace down to 1, and he could keep Elvish Mystic locked down. So that's pretty good,
Those are
right?
2 good things. Those are 2 things I would like to do. Bringing Jace to 1 is really important because then Reid can't minus it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. All right, so there is a Tidebinder Mage. He's going to lock down the Elvish Mystic,
No point in swinging the Judges Familiars.
but he will definitely swing the Thassa. I mean, he might be tempted to bring Reid's life total down to 9, but he has to,
Yeah.
reduce that Jace down to 1.
Absolutely. And he make heads up play.
All right, so Reid draws. Does Reid have a land here?
He just drew one.
He just drew a land? Okay.
Yep, he drew what appears to be a plains. Does he play a plains? No.
He does not play a plains.
All right, well, we'll see.
So it probably wasn't a plains that he drew. But he drew something. He drew a card. At least we know he drew a card.
Okay, he drew a card.
All right, so he's tapping 3. Is it a detention sphere?
Yeah, maybe it's not a land. I think I should stand corrected there.
Maybe the what you saw was a detention sphere? Because
Yeah.
I can see him playing detention sphere here and taking out. What would you take out with detention sphere? Would you take out
Thassa.
Thassa, right?
Thassa.
Yeah.
I know that there's the temptation to take 2 Judges Familiars because it's a 2-for-1.
Sure.
But I think you want to take the card that actually matters, and that's just Thassa.
Yeah. The most aggravating thing is, though, if you were to take out Thassa and then your opponent has a second Thassa, because of the legend rule, it's kind of,
if you take out the Thassa, then Jace doesn't even die.
Yeah. All right, well, there's a Mistcutter Hydra. And I mean, that's pretty good, but the Thassa could still just get past it by making it unblockable.
Yep. He's forcing Michael to use his mana that way, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, which is not that great because it's not like Michael has a fistful of hand where he wants to play out all his creatures, play out all his spells. He only has 2 cards in his hand. So him tapping mana, I don't really think Michael cares about that.
My guess is that Reid's just trying to stay alive until he draws more lands, and this is the most defensive line he can take.
Yeah, it's definitely reasonable.
When Reid wins, it's not going to be in a racing situation. When Reid wins, it's going to be by doing buckets of damage.
Yep. All right, so Reid's going to take 1 damage from the Tidebinder Mage here. So he's going to go to 12, and then the Thassa went after the Jace. So Reid will untap. He's really going to need a good draw here. Do you ever think maybe like Reid's deck would ever want sideboard Supreme Verdict, or is that just being too greedy with all your mana ramps?
I mean, ramping into Supreme Verdict is pretty meh.
Yeah.
So I think it's very unlikely that he keeps that he'd be able to play them. You know,
Yeah,
all
sure,
his
yeah.
hands have mana dorks in them.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, this is where the Prime Speaker Band deck really wishes it has Farseek, because Farseek wouldn't have died to a Supreme Verdict, and Reid would be able to actually probably even main deck Supreme Verdict if you wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so Mistcutter Hydra's going to come in for 3. Reid still has his hand on the creature, so he's not quite sure 100% yet. Once Reid taps it, it's official for Reid usually, you know?
Yeah. So the reason you want to play Verdict is this Verdict is probably like what matchups it's good in. The
Yeah.
best matchup for it right now is Mono Blue Devotion.
Okay.
That's the deck it's strongest against. And
Yep.
if you think your Mono Blue Devotion matchup is already good enough, then this is a card that actively hurts you to play. So it'd have to be, this would have to be a really bad matchup for you to put something
Sure.
like that in your board.
Sure. All right. There's a second Mistcutter Hydra, again as a 3/3. So Michael would check with Thassa.
I love these post-combat Mistcutter
Yeah,
Hydras
it's
that we
pretty
keep
funny, yeah.
seeing.
Okay, so Michael draws for the turn, and this is where Thassa really shines, because at this point it's essentially drawing a full card because you don't want to land.
Right.
So anything else is pretty much money.
Every time you scry a land to the bottom, it's like you drew a card.
Yeah. All right, so he's gonna make his Tiebinder Mage unblockable, Thassa unblockable, Judge's Familiar already unblockable essentially.
So that deals 9, puts Reid down to 3.
Yeah, and Reid might be one turn away from not really too sure what he could get here.
Curse of the Swine.
Curse of the Swine
Well,
wouldn't really help that.
He'd have to just cast it for X equals 1 on Thassa. Because otherwise Judge's Familiars would snag it.
Yeah, and I mean,
It would do it for
yeah,
now.
For one. Yeah, I'm almost thinking you want to do it for, like, if he has another land, he could do it to his own Elvish Mystic to have an untapped creature.
Yes.
That'd
be good.
That might help a little, but overall, I think we might be seeing a third game here. Reid did win the first game when he stabilized at 1. So far, Michael got 2 pretty good draws, I would have to say.
They're both good. Yeah, I mean, he got to have a Thassa this game. I don't think they're insane draws. This really just showcases the power of the deck.
Yeah.
He didn't this game. He had a Thassa and a Night Veil and some cheap creatures, and that was really it.
Okay.
But the deck is strong.
Sure. All right, so Reid's definitely in the tank here. He's thinking about this Schrage from the temple he just played. Takes a look at his hand. This kind of reminds me when Reid was playing the Jund deck when he won his Grand Prix in Miami. He would always, take time. You could see really not even so much intensity, just so much focus from Reid. He's surveying the board. So Thassa, Tiebinder Mage ×2, Judge's Familiar ×2. One more look at his hand. Reid's only on 3. If Reid was at a couple more life totals higher, it wouldn't even help that much. I think Reid really needs for Michael to be a bit lower. Maybe he could somehow sneak out a win with another Mistcutter Hydra or something. Tapping 3 might be a Detention Sphere.
It is the curse. It is the curse for 1.
Curse for 1.
So wise, I think, right, that's to play around the 2 Judges Familiars.
Okay, so there's Michael's token. So now Reid will still fall down to 1 life, correct?
Because he can't deal with the Judges Familiars.
All right, so Michael draws for his turn.
Judges Familiars are really being a pain in this matchup.
Yeah, really,
They're
surprisingly,
doing so much work.
They did do a lot of work. So he's swinging with everything. Kind of interesting. Why would Michael swing with everything?
I don't know.
Looks like he's losing those Tiebinder Mages.
Yeah, I think he only had to swing the Flyers.
Yeah, and now Reid will have another mana from the Elvish Mystic. Let's see what Michael drew this
Michael
turn.
lost a lot of his devotion to blue there.
Yeah.
No, the board's not dead. The
board's not dead. Okay.
Board's still on.
All right. So I think Reid could actually win this game now. This is crazy. If Reid comes back here, I mean, if Reid has
Michael's down 2/2. What this means is that Reid can start attacking.
I mean, well, he still has to answer the Judges Familiars. But if Reid has
if he has an answer.
Yeah, well, maybe not even an answer. If he has Sphinx Revelation, if he has Primeval Bounty plus land,
he can only Revelation for 2.
Well, he
For
could
3.
he could Revelation for 3, correct?
Yes, 3. Sorry, I missed.
Because then he would have to sack
the
both.
mana creatures.
Yeah. All right. So Reid's swinging in. What does he have here? Oh, it's a Prophet.
Well, that could be something. And
Gainsay. Wow, that was a good draw. Oh, and that's it.
That'll
All
be it.
right. Did Reid have anything else left in his hand? Do you know?
One card was a land. I don't know what the other one was.
I don't
I'm
know.
going to say it was a Sphinx's Revelation.
I think it was. All right. So good draw from Michael there with that Gainsay.
Yeah.
They are going to a game 3. And I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this. A really back and forth match. A lot of intensity here. You know, both players staying calm. I think we're more intense than the players here.
Yeah, it's okay. So what we saw there, kind of trying to recap the match, the Judges Familiars turned out to be very good against Reid's deck.
Yes.
They were really keeping him. They made all his spells a lot weaker.
That's true.
You know, there were some things. What he had first, he had to shock off the shock land to play
he-
around Judges Familiar.
He did.
And the Judges Familiars also swung for 6 damage or so.
Yep.
He had to cast Curse of the Swine for 1. Then he had, there were a lot of things that he just had to do to play around them that added up to a lot of damage.
Sure. Now, he couldn't have cursed for any more than 1 because that turn he played the Temple. So if he had an untapped land, he actually could have cursed for 2 instead.
Yes.
Which would have helped out, but not by much. But it actually would have, because a Judge's Familiar would have only brought him down to 2.
Well, he would have cursed a Judge's Familiar. Then.
Yeah, but then he would have taken more damage. Yeah, either way.
Cursed Thassa and Judge's Familiar is what he would have done. Yeah.
Yeah, but he would have needed. Yeah, it would have been close regardless. Anyway, they're going to a game 3. Who do you think's going to take it down? What do you think?
I like Reid. He's on the play. I think this is the first game we're going to get to see him on the play. I think Reid's been 1 turn away from stabilizing that game.
Yeah. And he stabilized exactly game 1.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Reid's on the play this time. This is the first time Reid's going to be on the play this match. First game, remember, Michael went Cloudfin Raptor, Frostborn Weird into Nightveil Spectre. And game 2, Michael lost the first one, so he was on the play again. So Reid's going to be on the play. Let's see if Reid's deck could really show its power and, come up with a really fast Polochronos, a really fast Prophet, really fast, pretty much anything. A big Sphinx's Revelation, maybe? We'll see. Now, supposedly, Reid had the Prime Speaker in his hand. That was his last card. So he could have played it at instant speed, drew some cards. Not sure how much mana he actually had, but maybe he could have stabilized if he drew into something good.
Yeah, so it does seem like he's a little soft to Thassa from that game.
Yeah, I mean, well, Thassa's a good card in general.
Thassa's a great card,
yeah. At least Reid has Detention Sphere, which is better than most people.
I guess he has Sphere, he has Curse, he also has, I'd
like
say...
Gainsays,
Yeah.
So it's better than most, but Thassa is a very, very good card. I think when Thassa first came out, people didn't really realize how good it was. I think people were more focused on the other gods.
Well, I think what people weren't envisioning a blue aggro deck.
Okay.
And, for example, Thassa's not seeing any play in any other decks.
Sure.
So you'd say Thassa would be great. I think what I'd said about it when it came out is this will be great if a blue aggro deck exists, but I know a lot of people said, oh, I'm going to play this in my control deck. And I was like, well, why would you do that? Like, it scries 1 every turn. It's like, that's probably not enough.
Sure. All right, so both players are mulliganing here.
That certainly favors Michael.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, that's the good thing about the mono blue devotion deck. Even though it kind of works like a puzzle, like you need all the pieces to the puzzle. You need some quote unquote like the Frogmites and the Arcbound Workers of like the Affinity. Here it's the same thing. You want the Cloudfin Raptors. You want the Judge's Familiars. You want the Frostborn Weirds. But it still really does a well job on the mulligan. I think because of Nightveil Spectre is so good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's the inherent flaw that Ramp as an archetype has, and that it's a 3-piece deck.
It is.
And I think because of that, of most Magic decks, Ramp's probably Mulligan's the worst.
I agree. And if you think about it, Reid doesn't have a card like Primeval Titan, where it's just like a huge creature, mana, just everything. Because Prime Speaker needs something with it, right?
Yes.
Sphinx's Revelation, you already need a lot of lands.
You need lands.
And you could just draw into nothing that good. But Primeval Primeval Titan is just so good.
You just cast it.
Yeah, you just count it. Yeah, it's great. Regardless, Reid's going to 5. I kind of had a feeling that Reid would mulligan this game. Maybe I brought like some bad...
Ooh, he's going to mulligan twice?
Yeah, I kind of felt it because I was talking about, like, a couple minutes ago, I was saying, oh, Reid's going to be on the play this game. But then when you're on the play, you're more likely to mulligan.
Right, it's... yeah.
Do you think that's true?
When you're on the play, you're more likely to mulligan? Well, I certainly notice it more.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, don't you? Like when I mulligan to 6 on the draw, sometimes
it's like
think,
not that bad.
Yeah, it's like I have my 7-card starting hand, I just go second. Okay, yeah, it's fine.
All right, so Reid's on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what he'll do here.
Hopefully it's something he can play with.
I see a Mistcutter Hydra and some lands.
A Voyaging Satyr and 2 lands.
And
they're both Temple Gardens, I believe.
Yeah,
but
is that a Mistcutter Hydra too?
I can't catch the other one, but I think if you have, even if I started with a hand of Temple Garden, Voyaging Satyr, like it's already a keep on 5.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, for sure. It's probably already a keep on 7, unless it's like 4 more lands or whatnot.
Well, yeah, there's no blue in this hand either, and you had to shock, so there's a bunch of things wrong with it.
Sure,
but
all right, now a TIE Mage would be excellent right here, but instead it's
just Frostburn Weird. Bullet dodged.
Yeah, I mean it's still pretty good, right?
Yeah, TIE Mage would have been disgusting there.
Yeah. All right, it's like a 2-mana
Stone,
Necrotal.
Stone Rain your opponent when he's on 5 cards.
Yep.
Usually pretty good.
All right, another Temple of Garden. Reid just passes the turn.
Yeah, he's playing what he can.
So there's a Mutavault, and I think he has turn 3 Thassa again.
Yeah, Michael's deck is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you play 4 Thassas, you're going to have it a lot on turn 3.
Yeah, 4 ofs do that. And this has been a good hand. Because of the devotion he's already established, it's very possible that Thassa's just going to be swinging next turn. Even probable, I would say.
Yeah, I would probably say. I mean, we see a Night Veil Spectre in hand, just one island away from being able to cast it.
Yep.
So I think Reid's best play here would be a blue source into a Prophet.
He does have a blue source. It was Temple of Mystery. He can untap that with.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, so he can't go blue source into Prophet. He could play Polukranos.
Yeah,
if he had it.
Yeah. Detention Sphere would be good here too.
That would be
very
I would say
good.
better than Polukranos. Yeah, Detention Sphere would probably be the choice play.
All right, so Reid is in the tank here. If it is a Detention Sphere, most certainly he has to take out the Thassa. I don't think that's much of a question, but instead he just passes the turn. Michael will check with the Thassa here, puts it on the bottom, and he draws an island, so he's able to cast that Night Veil Spectre now. Maybe Reid has the Gainsay. No, he doesn't have the Gainsay.
No Gainsay. And that's going to turn on Thassa. So now it's a swing of 7 here.
Yeah, Frostborn Weird doesn't want to get in this time. Actually, probably would have swung in with the Frostborn Weird there.
Just so he can't chump with Voyaging
Yeah,
Satyr.
exactly. I mean, and then he would take an extra 1 damage.
I can't believe he's chumping with Voyaging Satyr.
Not at 15, you don't think? I mean,
because
he just needs the
he
mana.
well, think about it. He had 3 Temple Gardens and a Temple of Mystery last turn and played nothing.
Okay.
And he'd be setting himself back to that situation again, and that's a situation he clearly doesn't want to be in.
Sure.
So.
Okay, so here it comes.
5.
It's 5 mana. What is it?
Prophet of
Prophet.
Crucifix.
Better than nothing. All right, Reid will untap.
Remember, Reid's at 8, though. It's a little. This could be.
Yeah.
Is this going to be too little, too late?
I'm not sure. He could Sphinx's Revelation for 3, go to 11. He would still be alive. I mean,
He really just needs to start drawing his Thrag Tusks.
yeah. Too bad you can't play Thragtus anymore in Standard.
I mean, when you see this, isn't that the first thing you think? You're like, man, he needs a Thrag Tusk right now.
Yeah. All right. So Prophet is jumping in front of Thassa, it looks like.
Thinks Prophet is less valuable than the Voyaging Satyr. He just must not have things in his hand to ramp into.
Yeah, he must need the mana or something. What is this? Oh, it's another Prophet.
It's another Prophet.
Okay, so that would make sense.
And now the bad news for Reid is that Michael has a very good follow-up play here. He has a Master of Waves.
He
in his
does
hand.
have a Master
yeah,
of Waves.
Oh boy, and I'd say he has a few devoted little bit.
Yeah,
that would be for 8.
It would be for 8, so that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he also has the Elvish Mystic if ever gets lucky and hits a forest.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think Reid is now his out is Curse of the Swine. I think
Curse of the Swine, get rid of Thassa, get rid of
Master.
Night Veil Spectre, get rid of
he's
Master.
still taking 4.
Still taking a lot right there.
Sylvan Caryatid Curse of the Swine. I don't know if that.
It was a blue card. Maybe it was a Curse of the Swine here?
Michael still has too many attackers. He'd have whatever you bore.
He also has that Mutavault hiding out there too.
He has a 3rd Prophet of Crucifix.
It was a Curse of the Swine. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to have 5 creatures plus the Mutavault. Yeah, it's still too much unless Reid has something in his hand.
Reid has another Prophet, I believe.
Another Prophet in hand? A 3rd Prophet? Wow.
Yeah. But Michael has 6 attackers.
Yeah, this still... Yeah, Reid does not have enough defense here.
Yeah, so there are 3 creatures will get... If Michael activates Mutavault and swings, 3 creatures get through.
Sure.
That's too many.
Yep.
That will be lethal.
Okay, well, I mean...
It's going to make him do it, though.
A couple of, close games. Reid was only... I mean, if Reid did a multi 5
This is a multi 5, yeah.
And it's...
And Michael had this, I think, was the best of his hands.
Do you think so?
Yeah, it's got a 1-drop into a double blue, and then you had
Thassa.
Thassa and Master.
Okay, yeah.
That seems very strong.
Yeah, I mean, Michael got 3 really good draws, but to be fair, that's what the mono blue devotion deck does. There is a Prophet, and yeah, doesn't even need to activate that Mutavault there. All he needs to do is pump that Frostborn Weird. And he does, and that's it. All right, Reid, being the good sport he is, says good game to his opponent, and Michael is 5-1. You know.
Yep. So redeemed.
The more we go,
yeah.
the closer it is to top 8. 5-1, pretty good.
5-1's pretty good, so probably 4